Okay. Let's see how the camera. Okay. Well, welcome in person and online. I'm a little washed out today, but that's okay. Um, I'll adjust that for next time. Maybe sit against the wall. So I wanted to thank everybody who's returning, either in person or online or through the recordings here. So how has meditating been going? Have you been trying to?
I did the breathing.
Yeah.
My last session was
Yeah.
breathing, so I did that at home.
Yeah.
And it helped.
Yeah, excellent. Have you noticed anything new about how you've been thinking? Have you noticed your thoughts at all?
Well, my thoughts get interrupted.
Yeah. It is, and that's one of the interesting things.
Yeah.
Is it definitely it's a
Life
practice.
interrupts.
Yes.
Phone, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I did try it. I do it before I go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm laying there. I do
Yeah.
that.
Excellent.
And that's a good time to do it.
That's when I tend to do that too, and it's a good way to decompress. I think
is.
before going to sleep.
Because during the day it doesn't work very well.
Yeah, I've done it at various times, and I always end up back in the evening myself. So.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I want to, as I've mentioned in person here, I want to focus heavily on the meditation today because it's one of my favorites. We're going to do a quick recap. Again, mindfulness really is just maintaining a moment by moment awareness of your thoughts, your feelings, what you're physically feeling, your surrounding environment, so that we can process the thoughts without judgment, without saying they're good or bad, just saying that those are pieces of information. So when we practice, we're literally practicing. We're trying to get in the habit of tuning into what we're sensing and what we're feeling and what we're thinking, rather than dwelling on the past, dwelling on how we could have handled something or something that has happened, as opposed to what we can do to move forward, or thinking about things, worrying about things that may happen in the future, which may or may not happen. I wanted to include a Mark Twain quote, and I completely forgot about it until right this moment, which was something like, "Thousands of horrible things have happened to me in my life, but all of them in my head." So yeah. But many things, I always have a tendency of worrying about things myself, and most of the time those things don't happen. And the things that do happen, that I would consider a problem or something that needs taken care of, are not things that you can plan for. So for the most part, we focus on the moment so that we can deal with that information as information, as opposed to worrying or lamenting.
We do waste a lot of time worrying.
Yes. And this is useful not just in your personal well-being, but also in work, being able to focus on tasks that you're doing, in sports, or even hanging out with friends, or family, making sure that you're present with them, as opposed to thinking about what you need to do at home, maybe the next week of work. You really want to treasure the moments that you have.
Have to be careful about what I say.
Yeah.
When you're a parent,
yeah,
you want to say certain things, but
yeah, definitely.
you have to
Yeah, no,
manage your comments.
I feel that.
Too much advice.
Yeah, and but everything is always a work in progress. We're always just moving to try and improve. So we have to give ourselves grace, I think, and ask that other people give us grace as well.
Right. That's true.
So last week we looked at values and how they related to the concept of what the Buddhist terminology is of wholesome thoughts, which are those things that make you happy or that promote freedom of mind, versus those which are promote suffering or reduce your freedom of mind, those things that cause you to ruminate. The current model for values is called the Schwartz theory of basic human values, in which he looked at the world's the way that people lived throughout the world, and found that really there's 10 values that we all hold dear, and that these are our initial ways of processing the world. Do you remember what your values were?
No, that's well, for me personally, I just about someone. I mean,
Sure.
family, peace, humanity,
Mhm.
kindness.
Yep, those are,
all the,
yeah.
my personal
Yeah.
values.
Yeah, in his terminology, that's benevolence, universalism. Family would be like culture or tradition.
Right. Oh, that's right. I forgot that.
Yeah.
Culture and tradition.
And just a way that we can look at those further. I don't want to spend time on it now. I debated going back and forth whether we would spend some time on it now. Is you can.
Did you, last time Sandy and I were here, you were gonna give us was it a worksheet or a handout or something on that session? Maybe not. I don't remember, but.
Not that I
thought you said
remember.
something. Okay.
But that's very possible that I said that. I'll have to look back
Okay.
and I'll provide that in the future
Okay.
weeks. But we can look at.
Just to recap the session.
Oh,
You
sure.
know, like a printout of,
Hmm.
but I don't want
Yeah.
more work for you. Don't.
No. I can definitely recap this into a handout. I don't have one available
Okay,
immediately.
that's fine.
Something that we can do is actually sit down, now that we've had time to think about our values.
Notes, yeah. We can-
And, well, I mean,
Personal, yeah.
we'll think about our values and then see how we can incorporate them into things like work, education, relationships, personal growth, even your leisure time. These, since they are our values, it's the way that we're naturally inclined to behave around things. So by adding these into our lives, we can help make our lives more in tune with what our values are. So I'm going to get into the meditation today, which is really early, but I do want to talk about it a little bit. It's called loving kindness in sort of modern meditating culture. It sounds very fluffy. It also is referred to as compassion meditation, and is really more aptly translated as the active practice of goodwill towards others. But I mean, that's not as easy to say or as catchy as loving kindness. And this is one of actually the Buddha's original teachings, one of his 4 divine emotions or supreme attitudes. The term comes from the term, and I may not pronounce this correctly, the metta bhavana. One of those things where you read it and you don't actually have never heard it pronounced. So
Right. You need to have it pronounced.
yes. Metta meaning non-romantic love, friendliness, compassion, and bhavana meaning cultivation. So the practice of compassion or practicing the emotion of friendliness or compassion towards everyone. So there are studies that have been done on this type of meditation. It does the same thing as many of our meditations do. It helps remove anxiety, stress, depression, and I'll include in the video notes the citations for this because I don't want it to be just tossing out things without having proof of what I'm saying. So I will put these in the citations in the notes. This meditation also generally just makes us happier and improves our ability to engage and understand with people in a positive manner, especially those we don't agree with. And we were just talking about maybe having some conflicts with people, whether that be about personal beliefs or politics this year, because it'll be a thing. And it really will help us take a step back and observe people as people we can care for. So on a fun note, the Buddha also suggests that this meditation would protect you from illness, poisons, and weapons. But I wouldn't suggest that testing this out. Do not do this meditation and then test that. Just saying that he was wise in many areas, but maybe not that. They said that this meditation may have been a way to encourage monks who were meditating in the wild and maybe in the wilderness and maybe afraid for the person as a way of calming them. So they think that's where that that encouragement, came from. But again, do not test that out. Let's just take the anxiety, stress, and dealing with others as the positives, and go on with that. So, again, with a meditation, we're going to, if we have any lightheadedness or any discomfort, make sure that you just come back and breathe normally. So we're going to go ahead and begin. Let's go ahead and close our eyes. And we're going to take several deep breaths in.
Do you suggest breathing in through the nose and out the mouth, or does that matter?
From other things, I would say that there's definite benefits to breathing in through nose.
And out.
It's not necessary either way. But there's a whole book on breath if you're interested.
Somebody asked me that.
I would definitely suggest in through the nose. It's generally prescribed as the best way of breathing in general. So in through the nose and then out, however. So we'll go ahead and breathe in. Again. And in again. Let's take a moment to feel the surface that we are sitting on, whether that's the floor or a chair, or maybe you're lying in bed, or even walking. Just take note of any feelings that we have within our body, any adjustments that need to be made to feel more comfortable. Let's take a moment to relax our eyes and our foreheads. And relax our shoulders. So for this meditation, we're going to pick someone who we don't know well, somebody who we see regularly, but don't have any particular feelings toward positive or negative. This can be somebody like a mailman, a coworker that you see regularly but don't directly interact with. You may know their first name, you may not. That's sort of where we're going. Once you have that person selected, start picturing them right in front of you, sitting or standing, just present with you. And do your best to really pick out the details of them and make sure that they're really well formed in your mind. Do they appear happy or sad? How are they standing or sitting? How are they holding their hands? Now, with that person pictured in your mind, say to them, I wish for you, and then fill in that blank. What is some kindness that you can provide for them, or that you can wish for them? It can be good health, maybe more money, maybe a vacation. Could even be just a nice dinner, or maybe they need a nap, or you think that they could use they might like that. So we'll say that again in our minds to them. I wish for you. And then again, one more time. I wish for you. Take note how, while we're here, how you're feeling when after you say that phrase in your mind to them. How does that make how does that change your emotion or your feeling at the moment? And the process here is only giving. You don't have to think about how they react. You're just wishing this kindness for them. Now in your mind, repeat after me for them. May you be happy. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be healthy. May you be at peace. May you be at peace. And with that, we can slowly let go of the image of the person in our mind and focus in again on our breath, just the natural ins and outs. A deep breath in and in. And in again. And as you feel comfortable, slowly open your eyes and come back. Okay, and as always, be sure to congratulate yourself on taking time to improve yourself and taking a moment to be with yourself. Yes, and peaceful. Um, so I mentioned that this is one of my favorites. One of the things that I find interesting about this is that I tend to wish on a neutral person something that is very prevalent in my values at that particular moment.
Mhm.
So one of my values is personal success. And so I tend to, for some reason, wish people
Personal
success. Um,
Mine is happiness,
yeah.
because most of the people in my life are older.
hmm Yeah.
Illness.
Yeah. And so you may have a strong tendency towards benevolence. And I just find that sometimes telling and interesting that you may randomly choose for them what you're particularly focusing on at that particular time. When you start, so there's different ways of doing this meditation as well. Um, Having a mild acquaintance is usually the easiest because you don't have any prior emotions towards the person.
Yeah.
When you start getting to people that you have feelings about, it of course gets more complicated. It may be easier if it's somebody that you really care about, close friend or a family member. It of course gets harder when maybe you're even trying to do that with yourself, or somebody that you maybe are having conflict with. One of the other meditations that sometimes is done by people is the universe at a whole, which is very encompassing. Just trying to wish something for everyone and everything at the same time, which is also, so you've got a bunch of different focuses based on possible focuses based on how close you want the person. In order to do it with yourself, one of the ways of thinking about that is you can either picture yourself or imagine yourself looking in a mirror. I find it much easier to deal with this meditation with somebody I disagree with than dealing with myself.
I just picked someone who was an acquaintance, but I did not know them well.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting.
Yeah. So people that are looking for improved self-esteem will try and do this with picturing themselves a lot, or trying to improve their own self-worth or that sort of thing. I tend to, maybe it's telling that I have difficulty doing this meditation with the imagery of looking in a mirror and telling these to myself.
I think that'd be tough for anybody.
And it may be.
I really do.
And that's not, again, not a good thing or a bad thing. It just is.
Mine is so complex, so full of things that's really hard.
Easy practice for people that, if you're wanting to do this and be able to work with people that you maybe don't necessarily agree with, whether that's somebody close to you, a coworker or a family member, you can kind of ease into it a little bit by, again, just practicing with small slights that happen during the day. I always turn to, somebody who drives differently than what you would want them to. And rather than being frustrated or angry with this person who's driving differently, to wish them well, to wish them some sort of happiness as well.
That does work.
Yeah.
It works.
So again, you can just say, you picture, you may not even see the driver, but they're driving too slow or they pass you too fast, and you just, rather than being frustrated, say, may you be happy, or may you find peace.
Because the opposite one is rage.
Yes. But it's a good,
cuts you off.
yes.
Right.
It is a minor way of practicing. It does take a little bit of practice to deal with, to do this meditation with somebody who you know you would disagree with, but it does definitely help with personalizing them and treating them more as not as opposition, but as in somebody who's just another person trying to get by.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yep.
So that's all I have for today. I know this is
That's nice.
yeah,
Nice.
it's a very nice. There's a lot of different different recordings of loving kindness out there. So I would definitely um, recommend trying that. Like I said, it's one of my favorites.
When my husband passed away, it's been 3 years, I went to a grief counselor,
Mm-hmm.
and she did a lot of Buddhist teachings.
Mm-hmm. It is a very peaceful way of thinking.
Yes, yes. So that's a very popular, way of dealing with a lot of things.
Definitely.
So I should probably be up on it more.
Well, thank you
Well, thank
in
you.
person. Thank you
See you
online
next
or in recording.
Wednesday.
Yes, and we'll be back in
We'll
a week.
continue.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Whoa. Meditate.